So our warm-up today is October 3rd, 2012. We're going to start off with a couple questions that we had from yesterday's assignment. You purchased 15 tickets, so I'm going to underline 15 tickets because that's a keyword, to an amusement park. The total cost for the tickets is $360. We're going to write a multiplication equation you can use to find t is our variable, the cost of a ticket. Then we're going to solve the equation. So 15 tickets, and we're going to find out t is our variable, so 15t is a multiplication, and to set it up as an equation we need to have an equal sign and the other amount, the total amount, 360. Once I have this, I can go ahead and solve for it, and so I divide 15 by 15 and 15 by 360. 15 by 15 is 1. 1 times t gives me t, and 15 goes into 360 24 times. So the cost of the ticket is $24. Next, we put it back in and we see that 15 times 24 is 360. Now on problem number 24, it says there are 30 students in a class. Each student receives 6 books, so that's another key reference, for all the different subjects taught. Write and solve a division equation to find our variable b, the total number of books for the students. So once again we have 30, b over 6 is our division equation because we have the total number of books, which is b, over 6 equals total number of students. Now in order for me to solve this, I'm going to use multiplication. So 6 times b over 6, and that cancels out, and then I do it to the opposite side to keep it balanced. That gives me a 180. So b equals 180, and 6 goes into 180 30 times. So we're good there. Now the next thing I want to talk about is 12.4, solving multiplication and division equations. Before, we solved one-step addition and subtraction equations. Now we're going to solve multiplication and division equations. So a couple key things: solving multiplication and division equations. To solve an equation, try to get the variable by itself. Okay, variable by itself on one side of the equation. You can use multiplication and division to undo each other. So that's a key thing. Multiplication equations. To solve multiplication equation, we're going to divide each side by the number that is a variable is multiplied by. Division equations, to solve division, we're going to multiply each side by its divisor. Now, here's an example of a multiplication equation, 5m equals 25. Here's an example of a division equation, m over 5 equals 10. So those are just quick examples. So remember, when a number is next to a letter, that means to multiply. When a letter is over a number, that means divide. So 12.4, page 648, starting on problem number 1. Copy and complete the statement. Solve a multiplication equation by, and how are we going to solve a multiplication equation? By using division. Problem number 2 says solve a division equation by multiplication, so we're going to do its opposite. Now once we have that, we're going to go to 3 through 6. Very first thing I want to do is I want to identify that this is a multiplication problem, and so in order for me to solve this, I have to use division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5. Once I've done that, I'm going to see that 5 over 5 equals 1, which leaves me 1 times x, which is x on this side. And then how many times does 5 go into 10? 2 times. Now I'm going to check my answer. 2 goes in for x, and 5 times 2 is 10, so yes, we're good. The next one, I want to see on problem number 4, I see that 27 equals 9x. We know that this is a multiplication problem, so we're going to use division to solve it. So I'm going to divide both sides by 9. 9 over 9 is 1. 1 times x is x. Now 9 goes into 27 3 times. Put 3 back into the equation. 3 times 9 is 27. Now on this next one, number 5, we have x over 9 equals 4. Now this is a division equation, and so we're going to use multiplication to solve it. So we're going to times by 9 to get rid of that divisor. And so 9 times x over 9 equals 4 times 9. The 9's cancel out, and that leaves me 4 times 9 is 36. Put it back in. 9 goes into 36 4 times. Times by 6 on both of them. 6's cancel out. 6 times 12 is 72. Put 72 back in for x. 6 goes into 72 12 times. So that's some basics for today's lesson. Pretty much the same thing. Now I want to kind of talk a little bit more about the lesson and talk about why we use algebra to solve it. These next few questions, I'm not going to solve them, I'm actually just going to identify a couple things. So if we look, problem number 11, before we could say 5 times what gives me a number. Now we have 5 times what gives me 28. And we notice that 5, it doesn't go into 28 evenly. And so this is why we use division to solve an equation. And that we could either have it as a remainder, a fraction, or a decimal. And so that's another one. Here's another one. 13, 7.2 equals 5j. Once again, we're going to divide by 5 and divide it into 7.2. Now, I said that you could use a calculator on this. You still can. The whole purpose of this activity is to practice the process of solving one-step equations. Now, all these ones up here, 7 through 14, you can use division to solve. All right? And then 15 through 22, you use multiplication to solve. This is your assignment. The rest of your assignment is 1 through 22. Then you're going to skip and go 45 through 46. Then skip 58 to 63. And this will be due tomorrow. All right. Well, I hope you have a great day and enjoyed this tutorial. We'll talk to you tomorrow.